Tuesday the 17th, kind of a sideways market, but let's go over the trade alerts. So the group today actually, I think, did better than I did overall. So last night, these were the different alerts. We will go over them. First, let me show you what I was able to catch. So first was the S&P after the U.S. Open. Again, just going for 2 points with a trigger at 4,031 on the long side. This was gold. Was slightly before the open for gold, but again, just going for 10 ticks. The trigger was at 12 to go short at 1912. The Nasdaq was really interesting. Triggered a long at 620, 11,620, and even though it only has a $100 target, because of this very quick move up, I got some very nice positive slippage on the Nasdaq today. And then I struggled with the Dow. So, I tell our traders in the group to try to avoid trading before the US Open, because lately the indices behaved much better after the Open than before the Open. And of course, because I have so many things to do, I went against my own advice. I started trading the YM when it broke the trigger short at 280. 34,280, and I very quickly had two losing trades. 1, 2 over here. Then a trade went my way, and I cut the loss in half. Another trade when it broke the trigger to the downside. Again, I manually got out because I just wanted to cut the loss down. I was down as much as 265. Trading one contract. So, I never increased number of contracts or revenge trade. I always stick to my plan. So my plan when I'm down is to be defensive and just try and recoup the losses. And finally, on another break of the trigger short, I was just even for the day. So for me, the Dow today, after all this, I was even, and a lot of our traders actually, because they waited until they opened, they waited for this a market open, they just immediately hit their one and done target on the way down. So speaking of our traders, so our European traders, I missed the oil trade because it happened so early and never came back, at least not yet. The trigger was I think to go long 79.30 maybe. I don't remember right now, but this is our European trader who took a long in oil. So it looks like the first long was a loss, and then when triggered again, he made up the loss and hit his $100 target. So that was good. And then I think he also took a gold trade. Yep. There was also a gold trade on the short side, and he hit his target with that as well. So great trading at European Open. Then throughout the day, a lot of traders send their charts with winning trades. This was the YM trade I was talking about. So this trader here waited for the U.S. Open, as I say to do. He waited and then just hit his $100 immediately when price broke the trigger to the short side. Again, more examples of winning trades. This was a small loss here, but then made up with a profit target for the day. Another winning trade here. So this was my Nasdaq trade. Yeah, so I mean, everyone in the group did really well today. There was also a breakout box trade. So again, a breakout box is in real time when I say on the Nasdaq to draw a box 10 points in width and go long if the box breaks to the upside or short if it breaks to the downside. Another example of that. All right, so let's go over the larger charts now. The Nasdaq was a buy. Oops. The Nasdaq was a buy at 11,620. So again, you would wait for the open and went from 620 all the way up to 683. So over $1,000 per contract here. As a matter of fact, we just triggered again not too long ago at 620. And if you were looking for your 5 points, you would have gotten your 5 points here. And I just spoke with the group on Zoom not too long ago. Be careful when the market keeps giving you these opportunities. 1 or 2 is fine. When they keep doing it 3, 4, 5 times, it does get a bit stale. The effectiveness is not quite there, especially when it's around 12, 1 o'clock. I don't like to trade during these times anyway. The initial move is the best move. This was the trade in the Nasdaq right over here. So the S&P was along at 4,031, and this one just gave you like 3 points from 31 up to 34.50. So in S&P, we're just looking for 2 points, and whoever traded that should have gotten their 2 points. If not, then this kind of chop happened afterwards. So did not quite trigger on the short side, but all they gave you on the long side so far is the 2 points. That's why I say, even though sometimes you have nice opportunities, you can take $1,000 per contract. There are also these times where you should have been happy with just the $100 per contract, the 2 points, winning trade, and shut the machine. Right, so gold was a buy at 1926 or a short at 1912. 1912 triggered a number of times during the European session and later on during the US session. Again, all we are looking for in gold is 10 ticks. And you've gotten here again a number of times, but when finally it broke, here, once it broke pretty good. I would just, after taking the first one, I would just stop. Again, there was no reason to keep on going for trades. The trigger worked, you got your $100, walk away. Because, for example, if you didn't, then this here is a losing trade. Right? Went up, went slightly above this pivot. Just enough to take out all the stops. And then they just collapsed down again once they reached the trigger 79.30. So way back in the European session. Let's get there. Yep. So they actually triggered before the European session. During the European session, they just went below it and then right above it. And they just never came back. So from 79.30, they hit a high of over 81. They went above 81 at some point. Yep, here we go here. So from 79.30 up to 81.24, and that's close to $2,000 per contract potential. And of course, the traders just get their $100. But it just never came back, at least since I was awake, to take another long. And the YM that I struggled with today, but the other traders in the group did just great. The YM was a short at 34.286. So the time to trade was after the market opened. They came up. Just very slightly got into the area above the trigger, triggered short again, and just never looked back. This was actually, I think, the second one, right? The first one was right as the session opened at 9:36, broke the trigger down easily, gave you your 20 ticks you would need to make $100 per contract, then tested it again, broke down again, and No, looking at this chart, you ask yourself, well, how can it be that you only broke even? Well, because I got myself in trouble in the pre-market. If I did not get myself in trouble in the pre-market, it would have been as easy as one and done. But I did. It's okay. Ended up, break even today in the YM, and tomorrow is another day. All right. So consider joining our group. We are doing great. We're looking for more traders. My email is in the description, and see you guys tomorrow.